Hey gang, this is Mike. I'm gonna do voiceovers for these BTS videos. Hopefully they explain a little bit more about what I'm doing and whatnot. So here you can see we've already started getting out light stands and all that good stuff. Liz is trying to put the flash in the stand. Uh, what I'm putting up right now is a beauty dish. It's gonna be the main light. It's gridded so it focuses the light on the subject. And what I'm building now is just a bigger octabox, and that's just gonna act as fill, kind of just to lift the shadows for the rest of the scene. Um, and now we're just grabbing a couple of their flashes, and these are actually going to be kind of setting the mood for the rest of the scene. They're going to go on various ends of the the photo. Liz is posing and helping me set up my lights. So those background flashes are basically just setting the color tones. As you can see, I'm trying to set one on the ground behind Liz. This is going to be an orange glow that I wanted to light up that paint canisters. Our model Emma just arrived. And you can see in the background, Liz is like very, very minutely adjusting stands, like mere inches at a time. And that's just because the light's very, very particular where we're going. Right now we got a strip box in the corner that's going to add a hair light to Emma's left shoulder just to help separate her. So you can see this is the first shot that we did. And it's kind of a funny moment because we've got this paint can and it's got a nozzle on it so you can pour it, and it just so happens that it was empty. So Emma was giggling a little bit because, oh my gosh, we got something that doesn't really work for this shot. What am I supposed to do? So it was just a nice, real moment, very candid, and I just love the expression that we got out of it because Emma's just giggling, um, which is really, really fantastic. But while we're on this shot, I'm going to break down kind of like how it's all set up. So as you can see, our main light's coming in from the left. That's that beauty dish with the grid, that first light we set up. And you can see we've got a little bit of that orange hue in the back left, kind of just to Emma's, what would be the image left, Emma's right. And that's an orange gel I wanted to do just to offset and add a little bit more interest to the background. You can see the rest of the background is a blue hue. That's because I got flashes on the far left and the far right pointing at the background with a blue gel. And you can see there's a hot spot on that AC vent in the back left that if I were better at Photoshop, I could remove, but alas, it's there. So hopefully it's not too distracting. But yeah, so here's the first shot. Here's the setup. And that's kind of how we ended up. So we're going to keep going. Okay, so got those shots, realized nothing in there. Okay, we're going to switch out the paint so we actually have something stuff in there. This is a shot of my dad's shop, and they were very, very gracious to let us just basically grab any old paint that they weren't using anymore. Typically with automotive stuff, you've got a ton of paint that you have to mix for the cars. You want extra in case you have to reshoot it. If there's an error, you got to, fix it, something like that. And what ends up happening is the cars leave and you've got all this leftover paint. So when I asked to do this shoot, my first request was, look, I don't want to get in the way of your guys' schedule, and I don't want to have to make you redo any work. And I also want to cut down your material costs because this paint is very, very expensive. I was like, do you have anything that's left over? Do you have anything that we could just like do water and food coloring? They're like, no, we got old paint cans, old mixes that we're not going to use anymore because the colors are so unique. We only see one car in this color like once every 10 years. So by then the paint's no good. So we're totally going to rock with it. So it worked out really nicely. And here we've got, Emma mixing in some paints on a scale. And for those of you who don't know how paint mixing works, it's basically every manufacturer has, a series of paint colors and codes, all that. And each paint is made up of a number of different base compound colors. So to know the right mix, you basically have to put in the right ratio based on the weight of the paint. So it's literally a scale and you're pouring in like 5 grams of white, 3 grams of blue, 6 grams of green, or whatever the combination is. But that's how you end up with these colors, and you get the exact match that the manufacturers started with. Right. So it was actually pretty funny. We actually got the shot I wanted, like, first time. So then I was like, okay, well, let's change focal length and keep shooting and, get some different angles and work it. One of my favorite photographers, Joe McNally, one of his big things that he pushes for is work the scene. Try different angles, keep moving around, keep trying different things. Don't walk away, with opportunities lost, because setting up the scene took about 4 hours between, moving stuff around, dusting off stuff. Oh my gosh, it was dusty. and just getting the paint situated and organizing it, and then setting up the lights took about 40 minutes to an hour. I just love this shot so much. It's so simple and it's kind of clean, and I mean, it's your typical product shot of like a flat lay almost, but to me, it's just very realistic for how grungy, how dirty, and how nuts it is when these professionals are mixing paints in these environments. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just, I want to harp on my dad's shop, but he's been through several painters, and I've never known a single one of them to not have a workbench that looks like this. It's just, it's paint. It's messy. It's dirty. It's not organized well. Um, it stains the bench, it stains the work tables. We dusted this off as much as humanly possible to not look like it had been sitting for the 5 years that it was. But, when I looked at their actual working table, it wasn't far off. Um, so it was really cool to do this. The only thing I'm a little bummed about is that we didn't dirty up Emma a little bit more, but we had to make sure she wore the gloves to be safe because this paint, I don't want to say stains your skin, but it's just very, very difficult to get off. So it was really, really cool to do this. And again, I love this shop.